Hey, it's Tay. I am back with a new video, and it's it's a different video than I normally make because something happened unexpectedly last week. And I wanted to share with you guys what happened and how I'm doing now and what I think this means for 2024. So, last week, Monday, was New Year's Day, the first day of 2024. And I have been looking forward to the new year because I am ready for some new changes in my life, but the change that happened on January 2nd was nothing like I ever expected would happen 2 days into the new year. And I'll just let you know. So on Tuesday, I went back to work and I was a little over halfway over my shift and I was on my lunch break. I was sitting down eating, and my fiance, he actually called in sick because he had really bad heartburn. So he was at home, and he calls me when I'm on my lunch break, and he is hysterical. And honestly, at first, I thought he was just messing around, and I thought he was trying to prank call me or something. And I quickly realized that it wasn't that at all. And he had told me that our bulldog, Meatball, that's him, he had a seizure. And over the last few months, he's been he won't get enough oxygen to his brain, right? So he'll kind of pass out for a second or two, and he always comes back up and he's fine and he's happy and he's ready to play. And I guess this time it was not the case. And Corey said that Meatball had started, he realized that Meatball wasn't breathing. So he had to give CPR to our dog. And first off, I can't even imagine how terrifying that must have been. So for Corey to be hysterical like that, it made complete sense. And it kind of made me panic, you know? So he called me and he told me this, and he says, "Come pick us up and take us to the vet, and can you call the vet and see if they can get us in right away?" So I called the vet, and I still wasn't 100% sure of everything that happened, you know? Like, I'm still trying to process this. So I'm like, I call the vet and I'm like, hey, this is super weird because I'm at work and my fiance had an incident with our bulldog, and I'm going to go pick them up right now and then bring them over to where you guys are. And she's like, well, I'm going to need more information than that. So I'm going to call Corey. And I'm like, okay, fine. He's really hard to understand right now, but he will have more answers than I will, you know? So I hurry up and I'm like on my way to the house, which I live about like a mile or two away from my work. And I get home and I opened the car door and Corey's carrying Meatball out of the house, and he sits in the back seat with Meatball. He's like cradling Meatball like a baby, you know what I mean? And so I start driving to the vet, and I'm kind of going over the speed limit, and Corey said that his Meatball's legs gave out, which is what happened with one of his other dogs that that got really sick. And I never got to meet her. Her name was Lucy, but I can't even imagine how sad that must have been. You know what I mean? So the vet said they were gonna take us in, and I'm like, perfect, you know? And we get there and we go inside, and our vet doctor, she like runs up to the front, and so does this other lady. And this other lady, I know she's a bulldog owner, so she knows about bulldogs. So she's there, and brought him back to the room, and we set him on the table, and he was laying down, and you know, they start working on him right away, and they give him oxygen, and they hooked him up to a machine. They were trying to get blood from him, and the machine said that his oxygen levels were low. And then a couple minutes later, they said that his oxygen levels were improving. So at this point, I'm still hopeful. And this is going to be like super trigger warning if you do not want to hear about some sad things. But which I should have put that right at the beginning, which maybe I'll put it in the description or the title or something. But I was hopeful at this point, and I was thinking we are at the best place that we could possibly be for Meatball right now, because he wasn't doing very good. And so then the doctor looks at us after a few minutes, and she says, can you guys go wait outside in the waiting room, and then we'll call you back when we, I don't know, figure something out or whatever. And we're like, okay. So we go back to the waiting room, or, you know, the front of the store. And my fiance is still freaking out. Like, not freaking out, but he's still, like, worried, you know. And I still wasn't worried, you know? And we see this other lady who works at the vet hospital. So this is the third lady. And she has on like the surgery apron thing. You know, it's like a plastic, I'm assuming, so that your outfit doesn't get dirty and all that. So she had that on, and she was like had gone into the room, and then she came out, and my fiance, he's like, why was she wearing that? And I was like, I don't know. It's probably just she had it on and she decided to keep it on for the time being. I don't know. And so we were in the waiting room for probably 5 minutes. And there were a couple other people that came in for their appointments, and the other workers that were in the office, or like the scheduled people and whatever, they told the other people that they were busy at the moment and that it would take a little bit longer and they had to wait. They're like, okay, that's fine. And not long after that, I think it was the doctor, and she told us we could come back. And I was not expecting the news that we heard. So we get in the room, and the first thing I notice is Meatball. It looked like he had a bloody nose, and it was just running down on the floor. And so I kind of moved so I couldn't see that, because that was really alarming. I have a blood phobia, so it was a lot, you know? And the doctor basically told us that he had blood in his lungs, and there was really nothing that she could do to save him. She said he was sedated at that moment, so he wasn't like suffering, but it just didn't really feel like we had a choice. And the doctor was like, basically, you guys can put him down so he doesn't suffer, or I don't know, or like, I guess I could work on him, but there's no guarantees that he's gonna come back from this. That's basically what she said. I don't remember the exact wording. And that's when it hit me, and it felt like it went really fast, and Corey's crying, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And I said, this is your decision, because Meatball was initially Corey's dog, and I came into Meatball's life when he was like 1 or 1.5 years old. So I didn't feel like it was my decision to say what to do. And he kept saying that he didn't want him to suffer. So it felt like I understood that. And I just kept telling him, like, this is your decision, and like, whatever you decide, you know, like, if you decide to do this, it will be okay. Like, Meatball isn't going to be mad at you. And So, yeah, we had to put our dog down, and he was only 6. And I kind of feel like I've been trying to stay strong this whole time, because Meatball, he was my baby. He followed me everywhere I went. If I sat down on the couch, he had to sit down on the couch. He always wanted to play, and if we weren't playing with him, he would bark and like try to get our attention. And his tail was always wagging. And I think the 2 hardest parts for me is waking up in the morning and he's not there, because he would always wait for me to get out of bed. Even if I stayed in bed until noon, he would have stayed in bed with me. And then after I brush my teeth and get ready for bed at night, walking out of the bathroom and him not being on the floor, staring back at me, that got me, I think, the worst for the first few nights. And Corey has been, I feel like he's been more emotional than me, which I think maybe my meds make me not as emotional, but I just feel like when I had to put my cat down 4 years ago, I was crying forever, it seemed like. And I was just miserable. And this time it's different. And to be completely honest, it makes me feel guilty. And my brain is trying to tell me that I should feel more sad, which is, I don't like, I can't control it, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of annoying that my brain is saying that. But I don't know, this is a process, and like, I think I just need to heal a little bit at a time, because he was a big part of my life. I did journal the other night. I wrote 4 pages, which it's not like a normal notebook size. It's like half the size, but still quite a bit of writing. Um, I don't know. It just feels like you feel empty, and you feel like just the first couple days from crying on and off, like you just feel exhausted. You know what I mean? And It's just weird because it just feels like your life kind of flips over on its side or something, like for 4 years, almost 5 years, I've known Meatball, and he has been the same silly boy for 5 years. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. It's it's just weird. Like it kind of feels like it wasn't real. You know what I mean? Um I we've been spoiling our other dog more, and now that she doesn't have her buddy, she's like lonelier during the day. So Corey's been checking up on her on his lunch break during the day. And he got her a baby. I'll show you. So this is Kevin. He is the dodo bird from Up. So she seems to like him. He has a squeaker, and he is a Kong toy, so he's more durable. And yeah, I don't know. She doesn't like cuddle with it or anything, but sometimes she'll lay by him. The cats seem to really like the feathers on his head. It does feel like the cats are a little lonelier, but it's kind of hard to tell, because obviously they can't talk. They can't tell you what they're thinking about. We went to go pick up his ashes on Tuesday, and we did not buy an urn from the vet. So I'm going to have to go online and find one that we really like. And then the vet gave us a clay paw print, So I got to bake that. I have one for my cat that he had kidney failure. His name was Walter. So I would like to find some type of bookcase or something to put their urns on with pictures and their toys or their collar and whatnot. Yeah, I hang this picture on the fridge, and every morning and every night, if I think about it, I'll kiss the picture, which probably sounds stupid if you're not a dog lover or a dog owner, but he was my little baby and I miss him so much. So I wanted to share my experience because I know that there are other people out there who are struggling with this or have struggled or are going to struggle in the future, And I just wanted to share my thoughts, my feelings, and if you're feeling the same way, maybe it'll help a little bit, you know? Um, we do want to get another bulldog, and my fiance has been looking at puppies, but we have agreed to wait a year. We're gonna wait a year until we get another puppy. And to be honest with you, which this is another thing that makes me feel really guilty. I have been looking forward to spending more time with our other dog because Meatball just took the spotlight, you know, like he just had my attention most of the time. Not saying that I ignored our lab, but she just she wasn't bothering us to play all the time like he was, so she just didn't get as much attention. So it will be way easier to bring her on walks this year. With both of them, it was just really hard for me to do it by myself. And there's nothing I can do about that now, but I really want to focus on Nova. And I want her to feel special now that her buddy's gone. She has had Meatball in her entire life. So he was the big brother. So, yeah, she has 3 cats to entertain her, but I'm sure it's not the same. So, I don't know. Oops, sorry. I have my phone sitting on a pillow right now. So, on a chair. So, I did not want to set up my ring light and do all that. I just wanted to sit down and talk to the camera. But one more thing I want to add. After we left the vet on January 2nd, I was driving home, and I so badly wanted to stop at the store and buy a pack of cigarettes. But for some reason, the thought like kind of disappeared, and I didn't get any cigarettes. And I've definitely I still think about it to this day. But it's not as the urge is not as strong as it was. If I had even had one drag, I think I would be like hooked again. But I still got my vape. It did go through the wash. I guess I forgot it in one of my pockets. It went through the wash and I dried it off and it still works. The pod that it had in it, it went through the washer and the dryer, so that was empty, so I had to throw that out, but I had a backup one. So I'm feeling grateful for my vape. I I honestly didn't think it was going to work again, and the pod I had it in my pocket the other morning and I needed to go back in the house and I pulled out my keys and the pod fell on the ground. Well, there's snow on the ground, But thank goodness that it was wrapped up in its package still. So I got home from work later that day and I saw the freaking pod laying on the ground. And so, yeah, I'm just feeling grateful that I have this right now. I did not plan on buying more stuff because honestly, we don't have the money. So, I'm just going to enjoy my time with the vape now until it goes in the washer again by accident, and then next time it probably won't work. But anyway, I'm going to end the video now, and I'm hoping to bring more quality content this year to my channel. Comments letting me know what you'd like me to talk about, whatever, that would be greatly appreciated, honestly, because I want you guys to watch my videos and I don't want to just I don't know. At this point, I'm just rambling. So, anyway, comment down below, like the video, watch some of my old videos. I hope to see you guys again soon. And I hope your new year is better than mine. Goodbye.